everyone, welcome back. If you're new, hi, I'm Jody. I am 54 and I'm going to share with you my favorite drugstore finds that I actually use on my more mature skin. So if you are looking for makeup without spending a fortune and you want to know, does that work on more mature skin? And I would like drugstore options that are readily available. I'm going to not only share with you what products they are, what colors I use, but I'm going to walk you through how I got this simple everyday look. So if you're ready, let's get started. All right, so let's get started because this face needs some help today. The first thing I like to do before I put on any makeup, as you guys know, is apply some moisturizer. Now, this combination of the moisturizer and the hydrating cream that I'm going to put on can be too much if you have oily skin. So if you have oily skin, I would recommend only doing this after your moisturizer has really set in. But this combo together might be create too much slippage for you, and nobody wants that. So I like to just take a little bit of moisturizer and throwing stuff today and putting it on my skin and really allowing that to set in, absorb into my skin before I go on to the next step in this process. You might be asking, Jody, where's your sunscreen? This is an ongoing, in fact, if there's a dermatologist that watches this channel, I would love for you to weigh in because I have heard from dermatologists, I've asked my own dermatologist when you should apply sunscreen and when you should apply the moisturizer in the layers. And then I heard a podcast recently that the physician's assistant of dermatology said the opposite. So I can't get a clear answer on this, and I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the most accurate information. And it begs the question if it even really matters. And here's what I'm talking about. I have always been told and learned from different dermatologists and from books that I've read that says if you have a chemical sunscreen, the sunscreen goes on before your moisturizer. And I've shared that with you guys multiple times. And if you have a mineral sunscreen, then it goes on after your moisturizer. That's the way, again, I've learned it and I've done it. And then I recently heard on the Breaking Beauty podcast, a physician's assistant of dermatology said, no, you want your sunscreen always to be last because in her the way she said is you want it closest to the sun, which I guess in some theory that makes sense, but I don't know. She's the one person I've heard say that. So I really want to hear, again, you guys weigh in on that. What do you think? How do you do it? Which way do you believe? And we'll keep searching for the right answer. And maybe they're both right. I don't know. I can't get a straight answer. So once you've allowed that moisturizer to really get into your skin, and I should have said what this is. I'll link all these products. This is the L'Oreal Collagen Moisture Filler. No surprise if you are a longtime watcher of this channel. I absolutely love this. And now that we're getting into fall and winter where our skin is going to tend to be a little bit more dry because of the artificial heat in the air, this really comes that much more important in my routine and my daily steps. I really have been enjoying this e.l.f. Camo Hydrating CC Cream. I have it in color Light 205N. And as I mentioned, if you've got oily skin, then this could be too much moisture for you. I also want to say real quick, somebody asked me in the Friday face-off comments from last week with the two blushes, the e.l.f. blush versus the Hourglass blush, what brush I used. And I'll link that video right here if you haven't seen it. And I use the Sephora 78. This is the brush that I use. I just like a denser brush when it comes to liquid blushes. So it is not a BK Beauty brush, although the majority of my brushes are BK Beauty. And I think I shared with you guys that as of late, I have been liking putting on my foundation or my base with a more fluffy brush. Most people use this as a powder brush, but I actually have really loved it for foundation. So I'm just gonna put this on a little bit everywhere. It probably looks like that's a lot, but these are very thin coats. And then I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 107. Again, this traditionally would be used as a powder brush, but as I've gotten older and I feel like the texture of my skin or my pores are getting more enlarged, I really like a fluffy powder brush to just pat in and blend out and really buff, I guess is the best word, that base for that foundation. I like this hydrating CC cream because it gives you a nice natural finish and good coverage. So you can see it looks shiny now. It will dry down just a little bit to be a little bit more of a semi-matte, but that coverage is phenomenal. And my skin stays hydrated without looking shiny all day when I apply that moisturizer under it and really give my skin a good drink of hydration and then put this CC cream on. But I love the coverage because it doesn't look cakey, but it covers up any of those dark spots that I have, any freckling, any age spots. And then I like to carry that just right up underneath where I have that little bit of discoloration underneath my eyes. I mean, this has been one of my favorites. I wore a lot this summer. It just came out, I think this year, right? Didn't this come out in 2024? I'm pretty sure. It hasn't been out that long. Next, I'm gonna take my favorite drugstore concealer, and that is, I don't have all e.l.f. products here, although you would think so because it's starting out to be the e.l.f. show. Next, to cover up some of that discoloration underneath my eyes, I am gonna go in with the NYX Getting Caliente. It is a very bright orange color, and some days more than others, need something that bold to color correct the dark circles under my eyes. I don't like to use a color corrector and then a concealer because I feel like the thickness of those two products sort of gets a little too thick and accentuates my fine lines and wrinkles. So I'm going to take my favorite concealer, and this is by e.l.f. This is the Hydration Camo Concealer. So partners really well with these. This video is not sponsored. You would think it's the e.l.f. show, but it's not. They're not all e.l.f. products. And then I'll take that Sephora 78 that I talked about earlier and just mix that concealer with that Getting Caliente to get a nice peachy concealer look so that I can color correct those dark circles underneath my eyes. And I just have really enjoyed the way this brightens up that under eye area. And you may need more or less of that bright orange and tone it down to a peach. I love the way that just brightens up that under eye area and just gives just a hint of brightness while also covering that purple discoloration underneath my eyes. All right, so now let's add a little bit of color back to the face and do some contouring / bronzing. And this is the Essence Contouring Palette. And I love this color because it's not too warm. It's just the perfect cool shadow look of a bronzer / contour, which I love because it's not, again, too warm. I'm gonna go in with the Angie Hot and Flashy. This is the A507 angled brush. This one I love for contouring because of that angle. It goes right up nicely. I mean, look at how pretty that contours and bronzes. So you're probably looking at that and gasping. No worries, I'm gonna blend that right out. Take that contour right into the hairline. And I like to leave just this little bit of space in my forehead so that my whole forehead doesn't look pushed back, but that the center part of my forehead comes a little bit forward. Now, if you have a square face, and I know some of you do because you have asked this question, how do you contour a square face? The easiest way to think about that is if your face is square, so think about the four corners of a square, you want to soften this corner, so you're going to contour around that corner. So instead of a hard corner, you're softening it and making it more like this. So in order to do that, you're just gonna take your contour outside that corner, cross the jawline, but really soften and try to imagine taking that corner and turning it more into a soft corner and then up a little bit. And that's gonna take you from this to a little bit more like that. So Nicole, I hope that helped you. Give it a couple practices. It doesn't take a lot of work. It just takes a few times practicing it. If I was to do that contour, my face, which is more oval, would look even more smaller because I'm essentially darkening out or coloring out those corners of my face. But again, square face, you want to just make it round by carving right through here and softening that back part of your jawline. Now we're almost done with this. I just can always get carried away with a little bit of contour. All right, now let's add some color to this face. And for that, gosh, you guys, I promise this is not all e.l.f., but these are just truly the ones that I reach for. e.l.f. should sponsor it, but they're not. This is in color Rosé Your Slay. I did highlight, just you guys know, just on Friday Face Off, the e.l.f. liquid blush, and I do like that blush, but if you're in a quick, everyday application, I love these little wands. In fact, you'll see the highlighter one here in a second, because they're just easy to apply. You dab it right where you want. And the liquid blush that I shared with you last week, it's a little harder to just apply straight to your skin because of how much comes out on that doe foot applicator. I prefer to be able to just do this every day. It's faster than you just take that simple brush and pounce that in. I really like this color. It's a nice blend of cool and warm tones. And I also think if you've got a darker lipstick on, then putting just a dab of this right in the center would give a nice highlight look or pouty look to your lips. Regardless of your skin tone, it'd be more important to have what color lipstick you have for that to work. And I think that would be a really pretty look. Now we're just gonna add a little bit of the Halo Glow highlighter, and I have it in the color Champagne. And you don't need a lot of this because that blush does have a highlight look. I would say it's glowy, it's not glittery. And just pull that up through the cheekbones. So if you're new to makeup, or you just wanna add a couple new products without spending a fortune, or you just haven't really embraced blush and you want to, or maybe you're just not so sure how to contour and you want to contour, then picking up a product or two in this type of a price range, because then you can work out the kinks, you can have good makeup days and not so good makeup days as you're working out your technique, getting your face shape down, and you didn't spend a fortune to do it. So I use these in my regular arsenal, not just when I'm practicing. All right, now let's move to these eyebrows. My eyebrow pencil of choice has been the NYX Full and Fluff. I like it because it has this special brush on the end. The Fenty Beauty has the same brush and I love it. It just feels different. I don't know if it's because it's different and it's fun is why I like it, but I feel like it's a little bit more luxurious of an eyebrow pencil than your normal spoolie. It probably is the same, but it just feels different. And I feel like it grabs more of the eyebrow hairs. And by more, I mean, there's not a lot to grab, but it just feels like whatever's there, it's grabbing. And I like to just go through and brush that up first. The other thing I love about the NYX eyebrow pencil is that the end of it is not that small little skinny pencil. It is the wider one. And I find that for those of us that are more mature, we have sparse eyebrows, the thicker pencil allows you to cover up more area. And when you want to fine tune and do individual hairs, that skinny tiny piece right there still allows you to do that. But then the thickness of it allows you to move a little faster. I'll show you what I mean. So there's the tip. So I'm just gonna go real skinny so you can still do individual hairlines with that. And then I just take the flat side of the longer side of it, and I'm using this in color taupe. So I just like to go across the bottom and then a little bit across the top and see how much of that I fake in there. And it's okay. I like a little thicker eyebrow. You don't have to do that if you don't want. And then just go back and comb that out and up a little bit to give yourself some height and some dimension. Then you can always add just a little bit of hairspray or setting spray to this spoolie or to a separate spoolie and go back through and comb it if you don't want to use a brow gel. Now in terms of eyeshadow, I think ColourPop has good eyeshadow, e.l.f. has good eyeshadow, Maybelline has good eyeshadow. I don't use a ton of eyeshadow anymore, so I just go back to this Essence palette that I shared with you guys earlier, the contour palette. My eyes are a little bit more saggy these days, so I like to just go in and create a little bit more of an arch and make it appear as though this droopy part is pulled back. And I do that by just creating a little bit of shadow on the tip of my brush and putting that brush right on the droopy part. And when you do that, you're essentially pulling that back up. And then I like to bring that all the way to the edge of my nose, not inside where my eye is, but right on this line of the nose, because that in essence helps you give a little bit of a contoured nose. You may or may not want that, but I've always felt like it looks a little funny on me when the eyeshadow just kind of stops. So I just lightly fade it right in to that nose area, but not a big swoop because we've just spent time putting concealer on that inner corner of our eyes if you get discoloration there. So you don't want to add brown color or a contour look there when you've just spent some time creating it to look the same color as your eyelid. And then I go in with that same brush and on the side of the brush, get the lighter color in this palette, tap it out, and then just press that, especially on that inner corner of my eye, and bring that to the center of my eye, right up to that crease. because I want to add some brightness to this area without it looking like I have a ton of eyeshadow. Sort of that no makeup look, and then pulling whatever I have left on the brush to that outer corner. But I try not to apply product directly to that outer corner. I apply the product inner corner, center of the eye, blend it, and then pull it out. Because I have found that I am the most wrinkly on my eyelids on that outer corner, so I don't want to add more product there that allows those wrinkles to really highlight and shine through. Next, I'm going to take a small fluffy brush and go back into that same contour that we've used and apply this underneath my eye. Now, you'll notice this is a larger brush than maybe what you use under your eye area. I have found that as I've gotten older, the more I try to apply a shadow or even an eyeliner very precisely on my eyelashes, it just looks too, I don't know if harsh is really the word, or I feel like there's that eyeshadow line there or the eyeliner line there, and then my wrinkles start right away, and it just almost gets distracting because of the contrast. I've liked the look of holding the brush way back here because it's just a lighter hand, taking the product and putting it on the tip of the brush, tapping off anything excess, and then taking that and swiping it underneath the eye, but also not just up high, a little bit lower, including the lashes, because I feel like it camouflages the wrinkles a little bit, and it just gives a little bit bigger look to the eye when that eyeshadow or eyeliner is a little bit bigger. I feel like it just makes my whole eye area look enlarged, which I am all for it because it just helps give definition to that part of my face. But see how just it's a soft look, but it's just not as harsh, I think, and it also looks, it diffuses the look of the wrinkles, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. I've really loved this with just an eyeliner on top. And then just take the brush and connect that outer corner with that upper area so that it's just a real seamless continuity of color. Another essential makeup item from the drugstore is eyelash curlers, especially as I've gotten older. I mean, who am I kidding? I've always curled my lashes, but I've recently introduced curling your lashes to a very close friend of mine, and she sent me a text the other day and said, this is a game changer. And when somebody tells me it's a game changer, I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad that I passed along that tip. So you can get an eyelash curler at almost any drugstore. It doesn't really matter which one. You just want one that is comfortable in your hands and that this curve somewhat fits the curve of your eye so that you get all of the lashes in there. Maybelline has a good one. I think CoverGirl might still make theirs. They have a good one. L'Oreal's got one. So just pick up an eyelash curler that's comfortable for your hands. Next, we're gonna go in with some eyeliner. I like a brown eyeliner because I have found that as I've gotten older, black is a little harsh unless I'm dressed up for some special event. But normal day-to-day, everyday wear, I like a dark brown. This is by NYX. This is their Epic Wear eyeliner, and I have it in color Burnt Sienna. This is more of a gel liner, and I like this one because the point that you sharpen this thing to stays at the point. It's gel, but it's not so soft that you're constantly dulling the tip, which to me is important because I like a little bit of a precision look, meaning I like it to be thick and then thin as it goes towards the center of my eye. I like to bury that just in my eyelashes. Now you'll see that the outer corner points down a little bit. You don't want to finish an eyeliner look where that line points down because essentially what it does is give your eyes this droopy look. So I like to take my finger and just give it a little bit of a kick up like that, and then go back in and fill in the line underneath. And this is waterproof, so you can go in your waterline if you like. But see how that outer corner now finishes with a little bit of a tail that goes up and softly blends into my eye, and we'll add mascara to that and it'll be perfect. Now when it comes to mascara, I like a big, bold, fluffy eyelash. Not everyone does. If your lips are sort of your main thing, you might want to play down with just a normal, natural, but a kick up from natural look to your lashes. I have more bold features, so I like to really play up my eyes. If you are like me and you like a big lash, then I love this Extreme by Essence. It's called I Love Extreme. What I love about this one is not only with one application do you get a nice fluffy look, but you don't get the transfer underneath this delicate eye area. And if you've just applied concealer and powder, you definitely don't want to have a mascara that's going to transfer underneath. And if you wear glasses, even more reason to be really careful with not having something transfer, because it's going to just look that much more extreme through the lens. If you like just a nice, pretty soft, but a mascara that helps you say, I have nice lashes, then the Voluminous Waterproof by L'Oreal. I mean, this is a fan favorite. This one always rates very high. I've reviewed it a few times. It does very well in reviews. You know, I'll just do both. That way you guys can see how they look. So there is one coat of the Essence I Love Extreme. Here's the wand on the I Love Extreme, so you can see why it is such a big, bold application. If you're in a hurry every day, this application wand can be a bit challenging because it is large. On the contrast, the Voluminous Waterproof by L'Oreal is a much smaller, skinnier wand, and the application is also quick and easy, and I think a naturally pretty look to the lashes. And there you go. We just did a mini Friday face-off with these two mascaras, and I love them both. So it really depends on what kind of look you want to your lashes. So now let's finish off with the lips. The lip liner. NYX lip pencils to me are hands down some of my favorite. They're not always that easy to find, however. If you live in a more rural area and you don't like to order online, NYX would be my first choice. However, Wet n Wild has very nice lip liners. This is called the Wet n Wild Perfect Pout. This is a gel lip liner. I have it in color Lay Down the Mauves. It sharpens from the bottom, really fast, easy. So that's the mauve lip liner, really pretty color. You could stop there and just throw on some Kiko Milano gloss, or you could put on some L'Oreal lipstick and work. It's a makeup channel, so let's do both, why not? Now, if you don't love this lipstick color, there are a lot of other colors in this formula. You just wanna get the Color Rich formula by L'Oreal. This is, again, color 800. For good measure, let's just throw in a little bit of this Kiko Milano lip gloss. I shared this with you guys the other day in a drugstore find video. Just gives a kick of color. I've really loved these new Kiko Milano lip glosses. I talked about these in a video a couple weeks ago. I'll link the color down below for you guys for this one because it just says color 03, but I think it's like a perfect peach or peachy color or something. But going into fall, I really like this more mauve-y lip color combination. I think it's gonna be a nice fall color without being too dark. But if you like a darker lipstick, then again, that L'Oreal Color Rich has some really nice colors. Just find the right formula that works for you. All right, you guys, there you have it. Those are my top finds when it comes to drugstore must-haves for more mature skin and how easily you can apply them to get an easy, everyday, quick fall look. I mean, let's say that wasn't really quick, but I talked you through it. So if you're ready for a fresh up when it comes to makeup, but you don't want to spend a fortune, and you're like me and have more mature skin, and you just need products that are gonna actually work and do what they say, I use these, love these, so that would be my recommendation from one girlfriend to the next. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in just a couple days. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.